All right, what's up, everyone? This is a new episode of Sports Harder coming at you on this Tuesday night. We got a lot of awesome NFL action, MLB World Series, everything under the sun sports. We're going to talk about. Going to talk about some Cowboy haters a little bit later that I got to deal with on Facebook. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I am your host, as always, Maddie Lukewarm Ice. Right here. And then my co-host, as always, is Chris the Gorilla Binder.
Why are you stealing my call sign, son? What's up?
I was like, man, I gotta do something. Like every time he's like showing off the guns, and like I don't have anything. So
Yeah, I've got rocket launchers. You have little 22s, bud.
Yeah, little pea shooters right here. So
Yep.
But awesome. We have a lot of stuff to unpack, a lot of stuff to get into, a lot of fun topics to talk about. But we're going to throw it right off the bat into the World Series because it's game 6 tonight, the Atlanta Braves versus the Houston Astros. And as of right now, the score is Atlanta 6 and Houston 0 in the top of the 7th. So it's looking like the Braves are going to finish this off. It looked like they were going to kind of pull an Atlanta Falcons and choke away 3-1 there for a little bit.
No, I told you it'd go to 6. Didn't I?
Yeah. You
said Atlanta
6 games.
6.
But I figured the Braves are going to finish in game 5 because they hit a grand slam like in the pretty close to the beginning. I can't remember when it was.
What is
it was
it
like
with
the
Houston
second,
giving up grand slams?
right? So like the Braves hit a grand slam and they still lose the game though. Like the Braves lost to the Astros. So I had a little like maybe they're not going to pull this off, but being up 6-0 in the 7th inning, they have a really good shot to finish this off. And the Astros will have the stigma of not being able to win without cheating. So
yeah, and losing in their own stadium.
Yeah, that's always the hard part. I mean, I'm sure the Braves would have loved to have won game 5 and gotten it over with, especially in front of their home fans. But the Astros batting was too much to handle. So as of right now, we'll keep everyone posted. If it gets through the rest of the game by the time the podcast is over, we'll update everyone and congratulate all the Atlanta Braves fans out there. So we'll keep everyone updated on what's going on with that. So now let's get into NFL trade deadline that ended today officially.
There was breaking news today.
Oh yeah,
the Henry Ruggs thing.
Well, yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna ask if you wanted to start with that or start with Deshaun, but sounds like you want to start with that, so we'll start with that.
Yeah, Henry Ruggs, fun stuff, right?
Yeah, it's very tragic, actually, just because, another person lost their life, in this car accident that Henry Ruggs was involved in. He is a Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver. Who doesn't know that? Just to throw that information out there for people who don't know. He is currently being charged with the DUI. I don't know if he actually was under the influence or not. I don't think they've officially proven it, but he is being charged with it. I heard a couple of reports today saying that they don't know officially, all the details, when it comes to if he was drunk or not, and who was driving and different things like that. But you probably know more details about it than I do, since you follow all the blogs for the Raiders, so you can give us some more info, I'm sure.
So he was actually charged with death due to a DUI. Which is basically the same thing as manslaughter. It's a felony. He was officially charged. He was officially put in jail. The thing that they haven't proven is what his blood alcohol content was, because they said he seemed impaired. He appeared impaired. They never administered a breathalyzer. They never administered a test. The one thing that I saw, I mean, it's rumors, there's nothing confirmed yet, is that he also wasn't at fault for the accident, that the other driver actually ran a red light and he hit them. So there's a whole bunch of speculation going on. Nothing official has come out yet. other than he has been charged with death due to a DUI. I'm sorry if he was drunk, that shit's on him. He killed somebody.
Yeah.
As heartless as that is, he's got to deal with the consequences of that. He's the one that's got to deal with all that. And he's going to go to jail, like if he was actually drunk. The thing is, you haven't said at all what his blood alcohol content was. He went to the hospital right after the accident. That was at 3:30 this morning.
Yeah.
Like, it's now been 12, 18 hours. Like, why haven't we heard anything about what the blood alcohol content was to prove that he was actually intoxicated? It simply could have been that he was driving. She went through the light, or the person went through the light. He hit them, hit his head, and was in complete shock because the other person's car caught on fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the reason why they had passed away, was because the car had caught on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, and they couldn't get out. Maybe he was in shock. Maybe that was just like, holy shit, like what just happened? He wasn't really impaired. He was like freaking out over what was going on, what happened, what had just happened.
Yeah.
Now, if he was drunk, like I said, dude needs to do his time. And it's going to suck because he's 22 years old, and that just essentially ended his career before it really got started. He was just getting going this year.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't be praised just because he's a damn football player and he's a professional athlete. Like,
Yeah.
he shouldn't get preferential treatment for it. And this is coming from a Raiders fan. Like, I love Henry Ruggs as a player. I love it. I love his heart. But if he really was driving drunk and the accident was his fault and he killed somebody, he needs to do his time. Like, hands down, needs to be done with football and just do his time. Just like all these rapist guys out there, like Deshaun Watson. And honestly, Ben Roethlisberger shouldn't have ever been brought back into the NFL because it was proven that he did rape that girl. But that's not here nor there.
Yeah.
But honestly, if it wasn't truly impairment, we need to know. Like, fans need to know. The media needs to know. Like, you guys need to release that.
Yeah.
What was he truly impaired, or are you just holding him saying that he might have been without any actual proof?
Well,
So the way I look, he's innocent until proven guilty.
yeah, I mean, definitely. That's how it goes. It's one of those things, though, hands down, everything is on him. Like, players like that nowadays, there's no excuse. Like, the NFL has ways to give you vehicles and cars where they'll pick you up if you're drunk. And, there's Ubers, there's Lyfts, there's all kinds of stuff now that you should have no reason or excuse whatsoever to get behind the wheel if you're drunk. Like, just hands down. I mean, me and you work at a bar, and one of our regulars always gets like a ride home, like a Lyft or like an Uber or whatever. He never drives home. So I
Yeah.
mean, he's a regular dude. This is a professional NFL player. Like, you have absolutely 110% no reason for driving like while being drunk or impaired, or just in general that late. Like, he could have a chauffeur or someone, like, they have ways. Like, he should be able to get around that, but yet somehow he was still behind the wheel driving.
And see,
And if
that right there is what makes me think that maybe he wasn't drunk. Maybe it was the shock of the situation. Because if you remember last year, Josh Jacobs was charged with a DUI, and they proved via his blood alcohol content he hadn't even had a drink,
Yeah.
but he was so distraught from the shock of the car accident that he was in that it appeared that he was impaired.
Yeah.
The same thing happened with Josh Jacobs. Now, this isn't excusing this at all. This is, let's find out what the facts are before we hang the guy on a cross, Like, seriously, like, let's not crucify him. And people are crucifying him all over the internet right now,
Yeah.
all over social media, without knowing the facts. Like, let's know the facts before we crucify. Seriously.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree that we need to know all the facts and get all the information before any actions take place. And that's why these things get investigated and looked into, is because they want to know everything. Can't just, if we didn't have to do that, then people could just, be like Judge Dredd, the movie, if anyone knows that, where, the cops just go around and they're the judge, jury, and executioner based on whatever evidence they say. They just,
I am the law.
yeah, exactly. I am the law. Yeah. What a great quote that was from that movie. I totally forgot that until you said that. That's awesome. So, I mean, yeah, we'll definitely see. And then talking about legal issues, Deshaun Watson, the trade did not go through, obviously, for the Miami Dolphins. I'm not sure if it was the Dolphins ownership or if it was like Deshaun Watson's like agent or whoever it was, but I guess there was rumors that they told him he needed to settle with the women, like pay the women what they're asking for, admit that you had done wrong, and then the trade would go through. You would serve your suspension or however long that would be, and move on. But I guess Deshaun still dug his heels in and still said no. I still don't want to settle. And it's like 32 different women, that are still saying all the same things. That he paid to have them flown from wherever they were. He personally paid for them to be flown from wherever part of the country they were at to where he was to get a massage, and that he
Yeah,
acted
cock massage.
inappropriately. Yeah. That he acted inappropriately when that happened. And a lot of people now are getting fed up with it since he's not settling. I know some sports analysts on like Fox Sports Radio are saying, they would have more respect for him if he would just admit that he was in the wrong by like leading these women on, by flying them in and expecting something sexually just because he flew them in, and that he should just settle.
But what
So,
if he didn't? You
you know,
know, I'm just saying, being the devil's advocate.
yeah.
What if he didn't? What if they're really just doing this for the money?
Yeah.
And he's digging his heels in saying, I didn't do this. I'm not paying you a dime because I didn't do it. Eventually, the truth is going to come out.
Yeah. But how long is that going to take before his career is over?
His career's already over.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because he won't settle.
So
What
that
at
would
this
be a
point, it's
shame.
what's
That would
more.
be a shame.
No, at this point, what's more important? Like, what would be more important to you as a man? To have your name cleared or to still have your name smeared in the mud and be able to continue your career? What would be more important to you as a man?
I mean, me personally, if I didn't do it, then yeah, I would want my name cleared. But if there's something that I did, even like a little bit, I would want to move on from this. Like I would settle and just move on from it. Like take your lumps. If you even if you didn't like, do sexual assault or whatever, but even if you did inappropriate things and you led them to believe that you wanted sex from them, at least admit that. Like he's like admitting that he didn't do anything wrong at all, like 110%, like he's not at fault at all. There's got to be a little bit of fault for him. I mean, he flew these women in. I mean, he kind of was like, "Hey, like this is what I want." So I just can't see how he can admit that he's not at fault at all. He's got to admit that a little bit of this is on him.
You know, I don't know. It looks bad on him because he flew them in. But people always jump to take the woman's side. And a man says something, he gets laughed at. Like if a man comes forward and says he was sexually assaulted, he gets laughed at. Look at Terry Crews, for example. Terry Crews destroyed his career by coming forward and saying he was sexually assaulted, which he was sexually assaulted. Somebody came up and grabbed his junk in public. He said,
Yeah.
don't do that. So they did it again anyway. There was another guy. I don't remember exactly who it was,
Yeah.
but it was Terry Crews was sexually assaulted. And ever since he came out with that information, he hasn't had a single acting gig. He's fallen off because if a man says something, it can never be true because men are known to lie.
Or that they're
My
bigger
thing
and
is
stronger. And so that way, it can't happen to them because of that type of thing.
yeah, my thing is maybe he's standing up for himself for a reason. If he did it, absolutely the dude needs to pay for it. 100%.
Yeah.
But they didn't crucify Roethlisberger this much.
Well, how many women was it?
2.
Yeah, this is
But
32.
why does that matter?
32 is a lot.
Still a rapist.
Yeah. Yeah. Either
Whether
way,
you
it
whether
still
you
happened. Yeah.
like if you rape one person or you rape 100 people, you're still a rapist. If you
Yeah.
kill one person or you kill 100 people, you're still a murderer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's very true.
So the number doesn't really matter. The issue here is, did he actually do it? Where is the proof? Like, he is standing his ground for a reason.
Yeah.
Like most guys would at this point just have been like, look, I fucked up. I got a boner and I expected something. I'm sorry, I've gotten a massage. I've gotten a massage from a girl and a guy. Both times you get a boner just because that's what happens. It's not a sexual thing.
Yeah.
It's sensual. When you're getting a massage, it's a very sensual thing. And it just something that happens. It's not because you're trying to have sex with that person. So maybe he got a boner and they took it the wrong way. I'm just being devil's advocate on this side. Honestly, if he did it, the dude deserves to burn.
Yeah. I
If
mean,
he sexually assaulted 32 women, the dude deserves to burn because that's fucking disgusting.
yeah. I mean, we'll see how long this will officially drag out. And like you said, like how hard it will be to get the proof like you said, and I think that's why everything is taking so long, is because it's hard to get any proof on things like this other than he said she said stuff.
Well,
So
it was picked up by the FBI.
yeah.
They looked into it for about 3 months and then dropped it. Said we don't have sufficient proof. That right there should say something.
Yeah.
If the FBI doesn't have sufficient proof on something like this, did he really do it? Or are we just burning him at the stake? Are we just crucifying him because 32 women came forward saying the same thing? How do we know that they didn't collude on it?
Yeah, I mean, that can definitely be so, especially if they're all trying to get a certain amount of money out of it, obviously.
Exactly. He's newly wealthy. He just got a big contract. Like, I think they were going to pay him like close to 40 mil a year. Like, he was up there in Patrick Mahomes money and Dak Prescott money.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's all of a sudden the stuff starts coming out. Like, it seems skeptical. But the way I stand is the way our nation should stand, and it hasn't been, is innocent until proven guilty. Due to social media, he's guilty until proven innocent. It's the same with the Henry Ruggs situation. Guilty until proven innocent. Bullshit. It's innocent
Yeah.
until proven guilty. Like, give the man a chance.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll
Maybe,
see the side of the stories. We'll see in what truly comes out, like you said.
yeah.
So some other stuff that's been going on with the trade deadline. Now some more fun and exciting news now that we were all being Debbie Downers about that stuff. At least some
Yeah, I'm flipping
exciting,
you off on this one.
yeah, at least some exciting news for my team.
Flipping you off on this one. But I'm also saying thank you at the same time.
right, because now he's not in your division anymore. So Von Miller
Exactly.
officially will be traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Von Miller coming from the Broncos for a second and third round pick in next year's draft. So Sean McVay being Sean McVay and getting players with draft picks. He doesn't really draft too many people in the draft. He kind of gets people that he wants from other teams with draft picks. That's just how he's always been. So now picking up I'm pretty sure he's an 8-time Pro Bowler. They said he's a Super Bowl MVP when they played the Carolina Panthers in the Super Bowl. He had the game-winning strip sack basically in that game against Cam Newton. So now Von Miller, Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and Jalen Ramsey all on the same defense.
And Leonard Floyd.
Who has been doing significantly better because Aaron Donald being double teamed. So if you had a crystal ball and you could predict who's going to be doing more now, is it still going to be Aaron Donald getting double teamed and Von Miller is going to start doing well again? Or are people going to start looking at Von Miller and putting more guys on him? And then now Aaron Donald's going to get more like one-on-one looks.
I think teams aren't going to know what to do.
They're just going to be so confused.
They're going to be like, all right, we're going to game plan for Aaron Donald. And then we just start getting hit by Leonard Floyd and Von Miller. Well, we need a game plan for them. And well, now the strongest man in the NFL is able to break through our line and destroy our quarterback. What the hell do we do? Like they're going to be a scary, deadly defense again.
Yeah. And we talked about this when it happened. I feel like as a Rams fan, we're kind of making a push for the Super Bowl like we did when we got Sue and what was his name from the Jaguars that we got? Why am I blanking on his name? He always used to do that foot thing when he got the sack. Like, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name right now. I'm terrible. Yeah, he would always do that. I can't remember his name now, but we got a lot of people on defense that year, obviously, in the offseason. And we made a push for the Super Bowl and made it, but unfortunately lost to Tom Brady and the Patriots that year. Yeah, so made me quite sad. I don't get to watch the Rams play in the Super Bowl very often. It would have been nice for them to be able to get a win. And that was the same year my dad had passed away just before that too. So I was like, man, this would have been nice to be able to have that happen. But maybe this year we can make a push again now with getting Von Miller.
Got some teams to try to get through.
Yeah, the NFC is very loaded, I feel like. And our division is obviously hard with the Cardinals being there with the same record. So who do you think, like, everyone always tries to say, like, who won the trade? Like, did the Broncos win the trade getting a second and third round pick for Von Miller, who's a little bit up there in age, or did the Rams get a good deal with only sending a second and third round pick?
I think the Rams got a good deal.
Yeah.
Honestly, Von Miller, 8-time Pro Bowler. He's been a 7-time first team all defense. He's been in the talks for Defensive Player of the Year every year that he's played. He's only had one significant injury that kept him out for a year. I mean, he's a dominant player. And people are like, oh, he's old. He's old. He's been in the league the same amount of time as Cam Newton. Like, they were drafted in the same draft.
Yeah.
2014. 7 years. It might have been 2013. Either way.
Yeah.
He hasn't been in the league that long. So he's not that old. I think he's only like 30 or 31. Like, he's really not that old. He may not be prime Von Miller, but he's still pretty damn close, and he's in really good shape. And he's played pretty well this year. He hasn't played like crap. So, yeah, I think the Rams got a good deal. Like, he's going to up their defense a hell of a lot. Like, quarterbacks aren't going to have time to do anything. Like, I don't care what quarterback you're going after. Like, they're going to get it from 3 different directions. Like, which way are they really going to be able to break loose? Like, Lamar Jackson ain't going to be shit. He's going to stop in the pocket and go, which way did I go, George? Which way do I go?
That way.
I was going to be like, do I want to get hit by Aaron Donald? Do I want to get hit by Leonard Floyd? Or do I want to get hit by Von Miller? Which one? Take my poison, because either way, it's going to hurt.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm hoping, like I said, it'll help us give it a push over some of these top NFC teams like the Packers and the Cardinals, especially with JJ Watt having the season-ending surgery. I'm hoping this kind of puts us over the edge with the Cardinals, gives us a little bit more firepower on defense. We did release Deshaun Jackson. He's no longer on the team. I think that's with Van Jefferson getting a lot more looks and a lot more playing time. I think they wanted to free up the cap space as well to bring in Von Miller. So that's and I think that's why we got rid of Kenny Young and sent him to the Broncos as well, because we were just trying to free up cap space to bring him in. And everyone kept on saying, why are the Rams getting rid of these players? They must be trying to bring somebody in. And then sure enough, they bring in Von Miller.
Right.
So like I said, I'm excited. I'm hopeful, fingers crossed. Let's see if the Rams can do it this year with having a good key trade at the trade deadline. So another big thing, Derrick Henry potentially could be out for the season with foot surgery.
But it could just be 3 weeks.
Yeah, depending. So it just depends, but he will be out for a significant amount of time as of right now. Hopefully he can come back. He's so much fun to watch. It kind of sucks he'll be gone for the amount of weeks that he'll be gone, because he could have maybe broken the rushing title this year, especially with having one more game, but being out, he's not going to be able to do it now.
Whatever. You're excited that he's out this week.
Just because the Rams are playing them doesn't mean that I'm excited about that. He's still,
you are.
He's still an awesome player to watch either way.
You don't want to see him embarrass Jalen Ramsey like he did Josh Norman.
that freaking insane stiff arm. Yeah. I'd like to see Jalen go up against him. Jalen makes some like heavy hits, man. He brings the boom. So it would be interesting to see him go up against him. But anyways, so they bring in Adrian Peterson. They're signing him to the Titans to add a little bit more depth at their running back position. Another key injury, Jameis Winston is now out for the season with like a torn MCL and ACL.
Yeah.
He's got his leg all jacked up, and it did not look good when he got tackled either. So he is out for the season. They're saying that potentially oh shoot. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Yeah, it's not Taysom Hill, it's the other guy.
Taysom Hill. They're saying Taysom Hill potentially could play, but he was going through the concussion protocol. But Trevor Siemian was the backup that went in for Jameis and beat the Bucs, which is crazy that he went in and was able to beat the Bucs. But they said it potentially could go with Trevor Siemian. How in the world do they think Trevor Siemian is a better quarterback than Taysom Hill?
They don't, but Taysom Hill may not be 100%.
But people are saying that he's better.
Really?
Yeah. Like all the analysts are saying that.
He didn't beat the Bucs.
They think Taysom Hill is just a gadget guy. They don't think he can play quarterback.
He's got a hell of an arm, and he's accurate. But whatever. They thought Trevor Siemian was the heir apparent to freaking John Elway too, when he went into the Broncos. Then he was a third stringer after being a first round pick.
Yeah.
Pretty damn terrible.
Yeah.
No, I think that's stupid. The only reason that Trevor Siemian won that game was New Orleans defense stepped up against Brady.
Yeah.
That's all it was New Orleans defense actually stepped up. I don't know.
Which they always seem to have Tom Brady's number, which is interesting. The defense always seems to be able to pick him off a couple times. But yeah, so that's another key thing that happened recently. Was there any other big free agency news that I missed out on, or any other injuries? I know there was a lot that kind of happened here recently.
Not really big. I know the Raiders released Nathan Peterman. I know Danielle Hunter's out for the season. He tore his ACL or something like that. He was the defensive lineman for The Vikings.
The Vikings. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't know.
I think that was about it. So I think we covered everything. If we think of something, you can always bring it up later. Before we get into talking more NFL stuff, I'm gonna check in on the baseball game real quick.
Yeah.
Top of the eighth, 2 outs. Excuse me, Braves are still up 7-0.
7-0 now, huh?
Yep. So 7-0 now. I think it's pretty much over. So now on to something really interesting. I don't know if you've seen this yet or not, but the college football playoffs officially start. And the top 4, listen to this. Georgia, number
Georgia.
1, which everyone knew that's what that was going to be. Everyone knows
Bama.
how dominant Georgia has been, Number 2, Alabama.
Yep.
This is where it gets really interesting because for 3 and 4, it's always been the same like every week. And now out of nowhere, number 3 is Michigan State and number 4 is Oregon. What the hell happened to Cincinnati?
Did Cincinnati lose?
No, they're 8-0.
Why are they below Oregon?
No, listen to this. Number 5, Ohio State. Number 6, Cincinnati.
What?
Right?
What?
They are getting slapped in the face right
Yeah,
now.
that's some bullshit right there. I get Michigan State being in the top 3 because of how they dismantled Michigan, but Oregon should not be in the top 4.
Yeah. Like, how is Oregon in the top 4?
Like, didn't Oregon lose to like Stanford? Or was it USC that they lost to? I know it was
no,
some shitty team. I think it was USC that beat them.
I didn't think it was USC, but I could be wrong. I can't remember who they lost to, but yeah. So they have 2 teams in the top 4 that have lost, Alabama and Oregon. And then, like I agree with you. Michigan State makes sense. Put them in at number 4. But Cincinnati should be 2 or 3. Like, there's no way Oregon should be in there. And they have Ohio State over Cincinnati.
It was Stanford. Stanford. Unranked Stanford beat Oregon.
Like, why are they doing this? Like, Michigan.
They're doing the Big Ten dirty, dude.
Michigan is at 7. Oklahoma is at 8, which Oklahoma was number 4 there for how many weeks?
Yeah.
And then Wake Forest at 9, and then Notre Dame at 10. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it at first. At first I was like, no, this is not real. Like, there's no way Cincinnati's not in it. And not only do they not put them in it, but they put them at 6 under Ohio State. Like,
that's a slap in their face.
Oh yeah, big time. So every week now is the official rankings for the college football playoffs. So this is like every week from now on for the rest of the season, this will be like officially like who's in the playoffs. Before it was just, who's the top 4 teams, but this is actually now starting the official playoff rankings. So we'll keep everyone up to date every week on like the rankings and, what's going on with that. So
I think University of Utah is going to beat Oregon and kick them out, and they have to put Cincinnati in.
Or they put Ohio State in.
That's bullshit. Ohio State didn't deserve it. They lost to Oregon.
Right. So yeah, we'll have to see when it comes to that. Let's see. So we went over baseball, college football. Basketball is still kind of in its young stage, so don't really have much to talk about when it comes to basketball since they just started everything.
Did you see the game Kevin Durant against the Pacers? It was the Nets Pacers.
No.
So somebody threw the ball down the court to Kevin Durant, and he gets fouled when he's trying to make a cut to the basket for a fast break. Dude grabs him, fouls him. They call the foul.
Yeah.
And Durant's pissed off that the guy grabbed him, throws the ball into the freaking stands above the basket, hits a fan in the face with it. They call a technical on him,
Yeah.
and he gets ejected. Like,
Well.
why did you do that? We're going to the foul line. Why did you do that?
Because he's too ill-tempered.
Come on, man. I'm stealing that.
Oh.
That was bad.
Terrible. So yeah, let's see here. So do you want to get into top five, bottom five then, or talk about some of the games that happened, or
We're going to top five, bottom five.
top five, bottom five? All right, let's start with the bottom five. Did I start last week or did you?
You did.
Oh, okay, so that means you get to this time.
Yep. So bottom five. Number 5, absolute worst team in the league. Detroit Lions. That hasn't changed.
Hasn't changed.
You know, I was hopeful for them, but it ain't on me. This one's not on me like the Texans were last year. Not at all. They just suck.
The Texans definitely was your fault. That was like
yeah, the Lions, not my fault. It's just the Lions. I have this odd suspicion that like God is a football fan.
Yeah.
If you believe in God, God is a football fan, and God just hates the Detroit Lions. Because I mean, look, Matt Stafford with the Rams is unstoppable, but with the Lions, he looked terrible. You know, doesn't make sense, right? No. So number 5, absolute worst team is the Lions. Then I have to put probably the Texans. Yeah, they're just a dumpster fire at this point.
Yeah, I mean they're 1-7, so
the only reason they're not the bottom team is because the Lions suck just a little more than they do.
By one game, yeah.
This is reminding me of like the Jaguars Jets of last year.
Oh yeah. Fighting for who's going to get the number 1 pick.
And then the Jets won 2 games in a row, and they were like, "What the hell happened?" Yeah. Then next in line, I have to put the Jets, just because their star quarterback goes down, so they go in and bring in old ass Joe Flacco.
Yeah, but then Mike White played and freaking threw for 400 yards, like 4 touchdowns, and he caught a pass for a 2-point conversion.
So
he was the MVP of the week for.
And did they win?
Yeah, they won.
Did they really?
Yeah, they beat the Bengals.
Oh, that's right. That was a surprise, huh? Forgot about that. We were like, "What the hell happened there?" I remember now.
Yeah.
Never mind. So I won't put the Jets at the number 3. I will put the Miami Dolphins there.
There you go. That's better.
That's a little better. And then I'm gonna put the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put the New York Giants. I'll keep the Jets out of the bottom 5 this week.
I'm sure they're very grateful for that, Jets fans.
They're still bottom 10, but you know.
Awesome. Well, I think I agree on all of them that you did. I would put number 5 worst team, definitely the Detroit Lions. They, like you now have picked up on and you copied from me, they golfed it up. So
yep, they've golfed up every damn game.
So the Eagles was no different. I mean, it was crazy, freaking 44-0. They couldn't even get on the scoreboard. Like, come on now.
Yeah, they had no chance to win against the Eagles. And the Eagles just got embarrassed by the Raiders.
Yeah, I know. That game made no sense to me. So yeah, so definitely the Lions. Then I would put the Texans. Let's see, the Texans, yeah. Then I would put the Dolphins, the Jaguars, and the Giants, like you said. So I think that was the same order, wasn't
Yeah, exact same order.
it? So yeah, that's yeah, that's how I how I would do it. I feel like the Texans and the Lions are gonna fight for who gets the number one pick. So all right, top five, and this is little side story real quick before we get into this. So NFL Network posts on Facebook their top five teams.
That's one analyst. That's not the whole website. Just so you know.
Yeah.
One analyst.
Yeah. So it's their top five power rankings basically. Let me see. I might have had another person like already comment on me. Yeah, it looks like looks like I had another person comment on it already. So I base their rankings, they had it listed as number one, the Packers, number two, the Cowboys, number three, the Cardinals, number four, the Bills, and number five, the Bucks. And I disagreed with the Cowboys being ranked number two as the second best team in the NFL.
Let's be real. You disagreed with three of those teams even being on, or two of the other teams even being on there.
Yeah. So, but I definitely pointed out the Cowboys being number two in my comment when I made a comment, and I said, hey, listen to our podcast, Sports Harder, and you can listen to our top five, bottom five, and see if you agree or disagree. I basically just said, hey, come check it out. I don't agree with this, but come check it out. I had like 20 comments on that from Cowboys fans laying into me about the Cowboys should be number two on that power ranking. I got, stop hating on me, you clown. I'm not going to listen to your podcast. You don't know anything about football. Like, you're delusional. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, oh my goodness. I got so many freaking comments on why I thought the Cowboys shouldn't be number two. And I basically said, because, they barely won against a Vikings team with their backup quarterback. And so then I got the whole, well, our best player wasn't playing, so if Dak was playing, then we would have blown him out of the water. And that's why we're the second best team, and if we played the Packers, we would beat the Packers, and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, and I just love all the people that were like, well, I'm not going to listen to your podcast then. Or I would never listen to your podcast, as one of them said, so.
Because you don't know anything about football at all.
I don't know.
No, you are like them. So am I. We're a little biased towards our team.
Yeah.
But I'm not unrealistic in thinking that the Raiders are the best team in the NFL. These guys are delusional thinking that. They're like, oh God, we've won 6 games in a row. Who have you beat? Legitimately, like, who have they beat? A significant win.
Yeah.
There isn't one.
At first, it would have been the Chargers, but now the Chargers are kind of going downhill.
Yeah, the Chargers looked good for a week.
So,
every team can look good for a short burst.
Yeah.
And I bet you, I will lay money on the line that these fans are the exact same fans that when Dak Prescott took over for Tony Romo, they were like, why are they putting this guy in? He's no good. He sucks. Why are they doing this? And now all of a sudden he's the best player on their team.
Yeah. And, Dak is like MVP level and stuff like that, so.
I will give it to Dak. Last year, before he got injured, that dude was on an absolute tear. He was on pace to beat the record for most passing yards and most passing touchdowns in a single season. Then he got injured. This year, he's not the same person.
He had to do that because his defense was so terrible last year.
Right?
So
didn't they choke out that Falcons game, but they ended up coming back and winning it?
Yeah. So, it's one of those things. I just think it's, hilarious. Like, I basically told a lot of people, like, hey, this is my opinion. Everyone has them. If you don't feel like listening to my podcast, I'm not going to be butthurt about it. Like, oh, man,
so
listen to
tell you what, if they come and actually listen to our podcast, I'll throw this out here. Come on our podcast. Debate with us, NFL. Debate with us more than just the Cowboys, Rams, and Raiders, because I guarantee that Matt and I have done our research on NFL teams. We know the NFL inside and out. We've done our research. We've studied up. We know what we're talking about. The Cowboys are not the number 2 team in the league. I'm sorry. Yes, I will honestly say they are a top 5 team. They look good this year. And I hate saying that, but they get in the playoffs, they ain't doing shit.
And especially,
sorry, they're going to lose in the wild card round. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, because I don't think they'll be able to have a good enough record to get a bye, but they'll
win their
the
division. But they're not going to be the number 1 team in the NFC.
No.
Number 1 team in the NFC is either going to be the Rams, the Cardinals, or the Packers.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 teams that you have to get by. And I'm sorry, the Cowboys, if they were to face up with any of those 3 teams right now, they'd lose.
Yeah. I mean,
significantly lose. Even with Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and Ezekiel Elliott on the field, they would still lose.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The defense has been playing good, but wait for the defense to play against like an all elite offense, and then we'll see. I was telling you I wanted to check because I did think that someone had commented on mine again, and someone did. They said Dallas gets a top 5 defense and can stay healthy. We can win it all. And then he says Dallas hungry.
Dallas hasn't won anything since what, 95, 96?
Yeah,
I mean, they have a chance. That's the last time the Braves won the World Series.
Right. So, I mean, that's looking good for them when it comes to that. So, well, right now the Braves are trying to close it out. It's the top of the 9th.
Should be the bottom of the 9th.
Well, yeah. So the Braves should be batting right now.
Okay, top of the 9th then.
Yeah, top of the 9th, the Braves are batting. So after this inning, they'll try to close it out with 3 more outs.
This is still 7-0?
Yeah.
They're going to shut them out to close the series.
Oh,
that amazing batting lineup. Like, they're going to shut them out to win the series. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So little side story about my little fun NFL network comment. I did not think even in the slightest that I would get any comments, but no, freaking internet trollers were just like waiting in the lurks, like refreshing like every 2 seconds, like, I'm going to get him. So
it's like Pro Football Focus when I called them out. Like, I want to debate with them. Because I don't think they know their ass from a hole in the ground.
Well, I wanted to debate not with like NFL Network, but like with all those people that were commenting on. And I told
that's
them,
what I'm saying. If they actually listen to this, comment on it on either Facebook or YouTube. Comment on it, and we'll bring you on the podcast, and we can have a debate.
Yeah, I mean, I put that out there. Like, if people go and look at my comment on Facebook, I told one of them, I said, listen, we love debating. So if you want to debate about it, get on our podcast. And they ignored that part. They didn't comment when I said that.
Of course not, because they just want to bitch that the Cowboys aren't getting the love that they think everybody should give them.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody should be a Raiders fan. Screw that. We don't want any bandwagoners. Like, jump that shit off. We don't want real fans. And the Cowboys have nothing but bandwagoners. Like, half of them probably can't even name like the last 10 quarterbacks that the Cowboys have had.
Yeah. Excuse me. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. So let's get into my top 5 then. So for me, I'm going to start off with, and like I'm going to stick to my guns and what I said when I commented to these people on Facebook. I said, I believe the Cowboys are number 5, not number 2. So number 5, I'm putting the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, they have been playing good. I want to see them go against like an elite team, and then we'll see. Like, they might drop off. But as of right now, yeah, with their record and how the defense have been playing, they're at number 5. Number 4, Gosh, I kind of still wanted to keep the Titans there, but with them losing Derrick Henry, they might fall off now when it comes to that. Um, I think I'll put the Buffalo Bills. I'll still keep them in the top five because it was either going to be them or the Titans because there's not very many AFC teams that like I can put in.
Number 2 team in the AFC right now, and potentially number 1 after this week,
Well, you said number two, the number two team in the AFC.
behind the Titans.
But well, I mean, they have the same record as the Bills.
Number
So
2 team. They are the number 2 team in the AFC right now.
fair enough. Uh number three, I'm gonna still continue to put my Rams there. I might bump them up if the Von Miller trade seems to pay off, then I'll kind of give them a little bit more edge over the Cardinals. But I want to see it in action first. So I'm going to keep them at number three. Then number two, the Cardinals, because they were still in the game against the Packers. They still almost won if AJ Green didn't decide to retire mid-route. So so
He
that
left
kind
his
of
deuce on the field.
yeah, that kind of he was just like, peace, I'm done, and then interception. So yeah, Cardinals at number two, and then the Packers at number one. And we both admitted we would put the Packers there if they beat the Cardinals, and they did. So Packers get to go at number one. But I see a lot of holes with the Packers. So it just depends, like you said, those top three teams that I just listed, and you said before, you got to get through those teams in the NFC. And I feel like that's like legitimate, like playing in the playoffs. Like those are like good games. Like, sometimes you go into a playoff game and you're just like, oh, that should be an easy win for the other team. But like like those three teams, if you had to play any of them in the playoffs, like, or even against each other, like if the Rams play the Cardinals in the playoffs, like that's like a Super Bowl matchup, in my opinion. Like those two really good teams playing against each other. So the top three kind of run away from everybody else. So
Including the Tom Brady Buccaneers.
yeah, well, they
Like
lost to the Saints, so they dropped out of my top five.
that is a gauntlet that I don't even think Tom Brady could climb.
Oh yeah,
If he had to face all three of those teams in the playoffs,
yeah,
like you get like one in the wild card, one in the divisional, and one in the championship, he's not going to beat all three of them.
yeah,
There's no way in hell. They're too good.
yeah. I agree.
So yeah, my top five, it's pretty close to yours, but a little bit different. Your bottom two are different. I would put the Raiders at number 5. Only reason being it would be the Titans, but with them losing Derrick Henry, I don't think they're going to be as good. I think they're going to fall off. And after this week, the Raiders are going to be the number 1 team in the AFC. I really think that the Titans are going to lose this week and the Raiders are going to win. And the Raiders become the home field advantage team in the AFC.
Yeah.
Like they look good. Even with the Henry Ruggs loss, they look good. They're going to be tough to beat. We still have Zay Jones. We honestly, like, there's talk of us going out and getting Deshaun Jackson since you guys dropped him, which I would gladly take because he's a speedy receiver that would spread the field just like Ruggs did.
Yeah.
Number 4, I would put the Cowboys. Again, not number 2, but they're still a top 5 team. Like, I don't know how any of the fans could bitch. The 2 people that hate the Cowboys with a passion, put them in the top 5.
Yeah.
Because they deserve that respect.
Yeah.
They have played that well. They have carried themselves that well, and they're going to be in the top 5 until they prove us wrong by losing to like a Packers team or a Rams team. Number 3, Rams. Number 2, Cardinals, and number 1, Green Bay. Green Bay came in with that win with the Cardinals. And I think if the Cardinals had won that would have really solidified their drive for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think that was the game that would have solidified them as favorites for the Super Bowl, because holy crap, they just beat that juggernaut Packers team, even though the Packers were down their top 2 receivers. and they lost their tight end, their top tight end during the game.
Yeah.
But all in all, the Packers deserve to be up there. Aaron Rodgers is on another MVP type season. He's on a freaking tear. Yeah, he had one bad game. Look what he's done since. And I
Yeah.
just have to throw out there, because I love throwing it out there. Patrick Mahomes leads the NFL in what stat?
Interceptions.
Yeah, he's thrown more interceptions than Trevor Lawrence, than Sam Darnold. He has thrown 11 interceptions in 7 games.
Yeah. A lot of those weren't on him though. Like even in the Giants game, like it hit the wide receiver like right in the helmet and bounced like straight up, like so a lot of those are just off the receivers, but there are like some that I've watched where he's trying to do too much and he throws it up there and it gets intercepted. So yeah.
I mean,
But
he's got Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Josh Gordon, freaking Travis Kelce.
yeah,
Why is he trying to do too much? He has like the most elite receiving core in the
because
NFL.
he's getting pressured too much from his offensive line. Like if you look, like he never stays in the pocket anymore. Like he
No,
always panics and rushes out because he's
but the
not getting
thing
any
is,
protection.
he could lower his release time to just under 2 seconds, just like Tom Brady has, and just get the ball out. He throws it up. He knows Tyreek Hill's going to go get it, and just learn to get the short routes. Learn to hit them short routes. Like
He's always going for the home run ball though. That's what he's used to.
that's the big problem. Go for the short routes. Hit Travis Kelce on a slant. Hit Josh Gordon on a slant. Hit Mecole Hardman on a slant. All those guys are big enough and fast enough that they can turn those slants off of 4 yards into 10 to 12 yards. Chip away. Don't always have to go for the home run ball. That'll help build his confidence back up and bring the Chiefs back to the superiority that they're used to, because Mahomes will start getting his confidence back.
Yeah.
The dude's lost some mojo.
I mean, they barely beat the Giants. Like it was way too
It was
close.
fourth
That was
quarter.
supposed to be that game was supposed to be like their confidence booster. And I don't even think they could come out of that very confident. They only won by a field goal. Like
Dude, you almost lost to Daniel Jones.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the Chiefs, they need to hit the panic button, especially Chiefs fans. You need to worry like big time
Yeah.
when it comes to that. So oh, it looks like it's the bottom of the ninth with 1 out. So 2 more outs away from ending it. Refresh it and make sure it's still that way. Yeah.
I told you, I'm from the future, bro. I looked
Yeah.
into the future. Didn't I call it? Braves in 6.
Well, we shall see with these last 2 outs. All of
Yeah,
a sudden,
it's
4
done.
grand slams. What?
No, it's done.
All right. I guess we're ready to get into our picks of the week then. So we shall get ready with the picks of the week. NFL picks of the week. Picks of the week. So I need to get that like recorded so I can just press a button and then it just does it. So I don't want to look at my phone for the score update because I feel like it's gonna like disconnect because it's been doing that a lot lately. But you are up 4 on me after this weekend. So
Let's see if I can pull it up.
without it disconnecting.
Yeah.
uh
Okay, so
I don't know if I sent you an update for the score though. All I said was that I was up by 4.
Well, you sent me the update to where we were at the Chiefs game.
Oh, okay.
So then the Chiefs won, so we both got that point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you are at 90 and 42.
Yeah, and then you're at 94.
I am at 94 and 41.
Yeah. So you're up 4 on me because you got both your lock and your upset that you called like very early, like your first 2 picks were lock and upset. And then my lock was the Bengals. I mean, who knew that they were going to lose to the Jets? And then my upset was a little bit more risky, excuse me, a little bit more risque than yours because it was the Lions and they hadn't won. So
Yeah, but I picked the team going against the undefeated team.
still, it was the Packers. I mean, they were 6-1 or whatever. So
Update just came through. Game is over. Braves win. Braves won the World Series 7-0.
So congratulations, Braves fans. Yep, you've waited a long time. You're gonna party like it's 1999.
1995 was the last time they won.
Well, they went in 1999.
Yeah, but they lost.
So, but yeah, so congratulations. I feel like they're the Washington Nationals. Like they got hot when it was needed, and they went up against a team that no one thought they could beat in the Nationals when they won the World Series. I think they beat the Astros as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the Astros just can't beat underdog teams. Apparently, they can only
Unless they cheat.
Yeah. So, but we'll get into our picks of the week. So, but again, congratulations, Atlanta Braves. They're gonna have a big parade and party, I'm sure. So picks of the week. Like I said, you're up 4 on me. Let me see here. Week 9. I know you already have the things up. So the Jets are 2-5 and the Colts are 3-5. So with me being behind, I get to start. Man, this one's gonna be hard because freaking Mike White. Like I never heard of him, but he freaking threw for 400 yards against the Bengals and scored like 3 touchdowns.
Just so you know, somebody won $126,000 off of that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
They put $1,000 down that Mike White would lead the NFL in passing in that week. And he sure as shit did.
Yeah.
And it was 125-1.
So yeah, it was nuts. But yeah, that one fan won that because of that. But the Colts have been playing good, but they've kind of been Wentzing it up, if I can throw that in there. When they played against the Titans, like, Wentz threw a pick 6, like in his own end zone, and that kind of messed up the Titans game. They could have taken that game from the Titans. Man, I'll go with the Colts though. They've been in their games, but they've been Wentzing it up, and I don't know if Mike White is going to be able to repeat the magic again. So
I think he is, and I'm going to throw this as my upset. Thursday night upset. I think the Jets are going to take out the Colts.
Oh my gosh. You always going to do this now? First 2 picks, upset and lock? What's the next one?
No.
That's probably going to be your lock.
No, it's not. That's for sure.
The next one
that you didn't do my whole upset.
Oh, sorry. Upset alert. Yeah.
There you go.
So
the next game that I've got is the Bengals and the Browns.
Oh, okay. So the 4-4 Browns versus the 5-3 Bengals. Which teams are we gonna get in this?
Right?
Like
the Browns have been dumping their shit on the field. Like, dude, they just lost to the Steelers.
Yeah.
But then the Bengals just lost to the Jets.
And the Browns are saying, like, they were considering trading Odell Beckham to the Saints. The Saints were making calls, and I guess they weren't able to come to an agreement before the deadline. And I guess LeBron has been doing a trend on Twitter saying hashtag free OBJ. So they're trying to get OBJ somewhere else.
which is stupid. I'm struggling. This one's hard, man.
It is. It really is.
But I have to go with the numbers, and I have to go with the Bengals. The Bengals so far have beat everybody in their division, and I think they're going to continue it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals as well. I don't know why they had that slump against the Jets, but I believe in Burrow and Chase. Hopefully they'll get the magic going again. I think the chemistry is better than Baker Mayfield and OBJ, obviously, and Landry's been struggling hardcore too this year.
Yeah. The next game I have in line is, I believe, the 6-1 Cowboys
Yes,
and the shitty Donkeys.
and the 4-4 Broncos.
Your pick.
I'm going with the Cowboys. They're in my top 5 at number 5. And the Broncos, again, I mean, who have the Cowboys really played? This is another team that's just like, okay, they're not really going to present that much of a challenge. I'm waiting for the Cowboys to be challenged, but they'll beat the Broncos.
Cowboys will be challenged when they face the Raiders.
No, there you go. Exactly.
So I'm not taking the Broncos because they just got rid of their best player on their entire team. So I have to go with the Cowboys. Here's a scintillating game for you. The 1-win Dolphins versus the 1-win Texans.
Texans. Yep.
This is a terrible game, and I have to pick this shit.
Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger, Dolphins. Just go against me for shits and giggles because this is a terrible game.
No, I'm not. Like,
that's how Dolphins.
Yeah, that's how bad the Texans are.
You can't even bravely go against me.
No.
All right, next game I have in line is the division leading Saints over the Falcons.
Yep, 5-2 Saints versus 3-4 Falcons. Oh man. Division matchups are always hard. They're always tough matches. I feel like it's going to be close, even with the Falcons not being as good of a team. They have no Jameis Winston for the Saints, but they have Kamara and Ingram back together. I'm going to go with the Saints, though. I feel like their defense stepped up last game, so hopefully they can keep that momentum against the Falcons.
I'm doing the same. I'm going Saints. So I don't think the Falcons are ready for that. Next game I have is the New York Giants and the Las Vegas Raiders. And this is my pick.
The Raiders. Yeah, it's your pick.
So I'm going to lock it in as the Raiders. The Giants don't get past the Raiders on this game, dude. It's not going to happen.
I'm going to go with the Raiders as well. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
All right. Next up, I've got Patriots and the Panthers.
Both
of them kind of like
4-4.
Both of them are mediocre teams.
And that's why they're both 4-4.
But the Patriots looked good against the Chargers.
Yeah.
And throw that out there.
They did. I'm actually going to go with the Patriots on this one. The Panthers have been on a downward spiral, and I don't know how Sam Darnold's doing and his health wise. So
the Panthers are quickly sinking.
Yeah.
Kitties aren't meant to swim. So I'm going with the Patriots as well.
Going with Patriots as well.
All right. Then I've got the amazing best team in the NFL, Jacksonville Jaguars. On paper, they should have one of the best teams in the NFL against the Buffalo Bills. My pick?
Yeah.
No, Bills. Duh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bills as well on this one.
They struggled against the Dolphins.
Yet. I thought they would.
That's a division rival, though.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I mean that's true.
And they only struggled in the first half.
Yeah.
In the second half, they just blew the shit out of the water. So Bills for you?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the Baltimore Ravens and the Minnesota Vikings.
5-2 Ravens versus the 3-4 Vikings. Man, the Vikings is kind of depending on the week, what team you're going to get. And the Ravens coming off a bye after getting stomped by the Bengals. I think I'm going to go with the Ravens on this one, though. They come off the bye and kind of get some revenge, take it out on the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens as well.
And then he goes with the Ravens.
I was questioning it for a second. All right. Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles coming off the destruction of the Detroit Lions. And the the Los Angeles Chargers coming off of their embarrassing loss to the Patriots.
Oh, yeah. So 4-3 Chargers, 3-5 Eagles. So your pick.
I think the Chargers get it done.
Fair enough. I don't really have too many more teams that I can do as an upset because the only ones that are left is Bears Steelers. And it's like, do I really think the Bears are going to beat the Steelers?
Or do you think the Niners are going to beat the Cardinals?
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of forcibly have to take the Eagles in this one as my upset, like there's not too many matchups that I feel like an upset team was going to win. So this is kind of hard this week.
Makes sense. Up next, the Kansas City Chiefs dumpster fire versus the now number 1 power ranked Green Bay Packers.
Yep, 7-1 Packers, 4-4 Chiefs. And that was another thing. I could have taken the Chiefs as an upset as well, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to go with the Packers on this one, and they kind of still continue to humble the Chiefs.
I'm going to go Packers as well.
Their defense can't stop anything. So
yeah, they're definitely not going to stop Aaron Rodgers.
You could have a Pee Wee football league out there, and they would still be scoring on the Chiefs.
If you can't stop freaking Daniel Jones, what makes you think you're going to stop Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Like, terrible. Next up, San Francisco 49ers and the now 7-1 Arizona Cardinals.
Yep, Niners at 3-4. So your pick.
Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Like,
now that the Cardinals
discussion.
Now that the Cardinals are 7-1, the Miami Dolphins are toasting and champagning to another team not being able to go undefeated yet again after however many years. So that team, I think it's funny that they still celebrate, that they still get together and celebrate.
It's been 39 years.
Yeah, they still get together and celebrate. I think it's hilarious. Every time there's not an undefeated team. But yeah, I'm gonna lock this one in and go with the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're gonna demolish the Niners. So I'm gonna lock.
Oh, you didn't take the next game as your lock? Huh.
I did not. So cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-ching.
All right. So the Sunday night game, we're looking at the Los Angeles Rams with one of the ugliest insignias ever created. And the Tennessee Titans without Derrick Henry, without their workhorse.
Yeah. So 6-2 Titans versus the 7-1 Rams. Of course, I'm going to go with my team. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think with Derrick Henry out, it makes it a little bit easier of a game, but it's still going to be difficult. I mean, the Titans still have weapons at wide receiver, so we'll see how well we can get to Tannehill and, put some pressure on him so that way we don't have to worry about stacking the box anymore, to stop the run. So that's good. So I think it'll give us a little bit of an advantage.
I mean, you might have to try to stop Adrian Peterson, and he's 38 years old and shit.
And we're playing at home, which is always nice. So
yeah, I'm taking the Rams as well, because when the Rams win this game and the Raiders win, the Raiders then become the number 1 seed in the AFC. Haven't been able to say that since like 1990. It's been a long time.
Well, one thing I want to point out about NFC and AFC, and this is not a knock on AFC, but NFC has like 4 teams with only 1 loss, I think it is. And so there's like going to be 2 to 3 teams in the wild card with only like a couple losses. You know, in the AFC, that would be like leading, like they would be in the lead. Like, but in the NFC, it's like, oh, you have you have 1 loss or 2 losses, like, oh, you're a wild card.
That's the
Like,
thing, though. How many AFC teams have 2 losses? There's a
uh,
lot.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's the Bills, the Raiders,
The Titans.
the Titans, yeah. So yeah, the Bills have 2 losses. The Ravens have 2 losses.
Yeah.
The Titans and the Raiders.
And don't the Bengals only have 2 losses, or are they at 3 now?
3 now.
Oh.
Yeah, they're 5-3.
You know, I mean, nobody's at 1 loss, but I don't know. Maybe it has to do with more difficult play in the AFC.
I like how you try to put that in there. Like,
Had to. No, it's definitely a big separation between the winners and losers this year. There's not really a lot of middle ground. It's
Yeah.
really like, you know who's standing out and who's not standing out.
Yeah.
Granted, we're only halfway through the season.
True. Yeah, that's very true. I would just
We're already halfway through football season. That's bullshit. This needs to go longer.
I would hate to see like a team be a wild card because of only like 2 or 3 losses. That would suck. Or be tied with like the number 1 team and miss out because, you know, that team beat them or that team beat another team or whatever it is, you know. Like right now, the Packers are the number 1 team in the NFC, but it's only because they beat the Cardinals and the Cardinals beat the Rams. So that means the Rams are at number 3, like, and in the wild card. So the Rams would be in the wild card, but yet they're 7-1, like 7-1, and they're in the wild card right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That just blows my mind.
It's crazy.
But we already had that discussion too with baseball when the Giants and the Dodgers had those great records, but yet one of them had to be a wild card.
Yeah, it happens.
So,
And then you get teams like the Giants when they won the Super Bowl. They were friggin' 9-7 wild card team.
yeah.
They didn't win their division. They were a freaking 6 seed wild card team and came up and won the Super Bowl and beat Tom Brady.
And was undefeated. The Patriots were undefeated.
Yeah. There was no way in any simulation of Earth that the Patriots should have lost that game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, final game.
All right.
We have the bottom feeding Chicago Bears versus the bottom feeding Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I always like to go over the records, but I can't remember the records. So Bears are 3-5 and Steelers are 4-3. That's why I was saying I didn't think that, you know, if I called the Bears as an upset, that would work out. I don't know. Let's see who picked last.
It would, because they have less wins.
I know, but I don't know if it'll happen.
You picked the Rams, so I get to pick this one, and I'm gonna take the Steelers on it.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna take the Steelers. Yeah, I think unfortunately the Bears don't have enough around Justin Fields, the poor guy.
No, and like the Steelers defense is still good. They still get to the quarterback. So
yeah. I mean, as long as they have Watt, man, he's a machine. So
they got rid of Melvin Ingram.
Yeah, I saw that. That's right. That's true. He went to the Chiefs, so the Chiefs trying to bolster their defense
with a guy that was a reject from the Chargers. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Mr. Injury prone.
So we'll see how that works out for the Chargers. They are not the Chargers, the Chiefs, because they can use any help they can get. So,
right.
All right. Well, that's our NFL picks of the week. as always, we appreciate the listens, the views. You can follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, any of those places. Any of the haters out there that listen this week, you can shout out at me. You can comment. I don't care. Bring it on. Like,
come at us.
Yeah,
come at us and debate.
Yeah, we're fine. So we can debate and talk. We love it. We're all about it. It makes the show more fun when other people have different opinions. So it's fun to go back and forth with that. As always, we end our show with our hashtag.
Earl Thomas still not signed.
Earl Thomas still not signed even after the trade deadline. Nothing. So another year gone by. Sorry, Earl Thomas. But as always, like and subscribe us on YouTube and share with your friends and family. Check us out on Facebook. And until next week, we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Later.
Peace.